I cancelled myself.
Check it, check it, check it, check it, check it out.
So yesterday, the comedian Joe Lycett, aka the millennial Julian Clary, yesterday came like a builder taking a quote-unquote toilet break, in which he was vigorously looking at page 3 of The Sun, in the sense that he was all over the UK tabloid news for storming off a daytime talk show after he was baited up for being a quote-unquote hypocrite for telling everyone not to use single-use plastics and then being photographed using a single-use plastic bottle. Now that's the most 2021 headline ever, isn't it, bruv? But anyway, instead of me waffling on, why don't we take a little look at the clip of Joe Lycett apparently storming off the daytime talk show Steph's packed lunch. Check it out.
Things like that. So,
yeah. And you're well into this, aren't you, Joe? Because you've pimped up your garden and made it look more Love Island. Have a look.
I don't have a fire pit, so I just got a candle.
Isn't that one of the bottles you said you'd stop using in the picture? Isn't
I
it?
didn't realise I was on Newsnight, Steph.
All right, Joe. Anyway, thanks, Siobhan. Still to come, Joe Lycett is sticking around. He'll be telling us what he thinks about the idea of hitting the gym when you've missed out on a good night's sleep. See you after the break.
I mean, I'm not being funny here, but I know Joe Lycett is no Jason Statham, but that's the most feeble walk-off since someone upended Stephen Hawking's wheelchair, fam. I've seen more solid exits when I'm in the middle of a bout of food poisoning, cuz. I mean, if you believe Joe Lycett was serious after watching that, you must think Gullible is a story about a man who gets shipwrecked onto an island full of tiny people. But anyway, as I mentioned earlier, the UK mainstream media, being the absolute geniuses that they are, did think that Joe Lycett was being serious when he walked off the show, and among those absolute imbeciles was the UK red-top tabloid, the Daily Mirror, who printed this story, which I found absolutely flipping hilarious, mate. Check it out.
Joe Lycett storms off Steph's packed lunch after awkward joke and doesn't return. Joe Lycett appeared to have had enough of his time on Channel 4 show Steph's packed lunch as he lost his sense of humour following a jibe from Steph McGovern. Joe Lycett stormed off Channel 4 show Steph's packed lunch on Thursday afternoon after he didn't find the funny side to an awkward joke by Steph McGovern. The atmosphere soon turned tense. Before the show cut to an ad break, Joe was angered by Steph's comment before taking off his microphone and storming off set and out of the TV studio. It all went wrong after Steph and Joe had been discussing single-use plastic and how they had cut down on its use at their homes as part of a bigger plan to help the planet. Blah, 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 blah. But that changed, Anyway, isn't that one of the bottles you said you stopped using in the picture? Ooh, the tension could be cut with a knife as the studio fell silent before Joe hit back. I didn't realise I was on Newsnight, Steph. Joe then pulled off his microphone, panned to a wide shot.
Joe then pulled off his microphone, panned to a wide shot. I swear down, this article appears to have been written by someone to whom grammar is just something they say to their shotter before they say the word Charlie.
Which showed him walking out of the studio after putting his microphone to one side. After the break...
See what I mean, bruv? These lot couldn't write on a road with a dead-end left turn, fam.
Steph told viewers that Joe would not be back, saying Joe Lycett was going to stick with us, but he's had to leave.
So as you can see there, the tabloid newspapers ate up the fact that Joe had apparently had a temper tantrum, which is weird because the British press never seem to jump on the story before the facts are fully verified, do they? And you can also see, after watching the clip and seeing how tame it was, versus the way the incident was reported in the press, how they sensationalise everything and make an absolute Grand Canyon out of a molehill, which makes it all the more delicious when you see how the story turns out, fam. So without further ado, let's take a little look at a statement that Joe Lycett put out about the incident today, which to make more interesting, I'm going to read out in the style of an old school garage MC. Check it out. Some of you might have seen already that I had a tantrum on Steph's packed lunch yesterday and stopped off the show. This is absolutely true. What you might not know is I planned the whole thing. Clear PET plastic bottles are widely recycled and contribute to the circular economy. If you put a clear PET plastic bottle in the recycling, there's a good chance it will become another clear PET PET plastic bottle. Coloured and in particular white PET plastic bottles are much harder to recycle. I explained this on Thursday's show, but later a picture with a bottle made of white PET plastic appeared on the screen. Steph pointed out my apparent hypocrisy and I kicked off. By kicked off, I mean took my mic off and left the studio. All of it was planned, all of it rehearsed. Today I see the pictures of me drinking from one of these bottles, which Greg James agreed to retweet. The tabloids loved it. Mummies all over the press. The bottle in question, yup. I risked my reputation as a jolly, affable and very much available chat show guest to say this as loud as I can. Yup. It's time to stop using white PET plastic. So what you saying, yup? And I think you'll agree that's the way all statements should be read out in future, innit, bruv? But not only did Joe Lycett put that statement out, he also went back on the same show that he apparently stormed off of to clarify exactly what had happened. Check it out.
Basically, and loads of your production team didn't know about this. We had to keep it as quiet as possible, but it was a stunt.
I think anyone with half a brain cell knew that, Joe, especially seeing as you're a funny little stunt, ain't ya?
And so did it get the reaction you wanted then?
Well, we were hoping for a couple of headlines. I am describing what we got as a clean sweep.
I think that's fair to say, Mr. Lycett, considering the sensationalist British press jumped all over this like fleas on Susan Boyle's hairy back, fam. But anyway, there was a more serious point behind what Joe Lycett was doing in collusion with Steph here, and that was raising the point that coloured plastics are a lot more difficult to recycle than clear plastics. And he thought of an ingenious way to drum up press interest by acting like a petulant, spoilt brat, kind of like Piers Morgan, because we all know the mainstream media would much rather report on bad behaviour from a celebrity than actual things that matter, like us killing the earth. But anyway, here's Joe Lycett to explain it for himself.
Earlier on the show yesterday, I talked about white PET plastic and coloured PET plastic and was saying that my show was looking into whether this was potentially a lot harder to recycle than clear PET plastic, and if that was the case, then maybe companies shouldn't be using these plastics. And I decided that I wanted as many people to know about this story as possible. And how do you get press inches? Well, we've seen Piers Morgan, we've seen Patsy Palmer. You storm off a chat show.
Yep, exactly. And it worked, didn't it? So, point proven. But like I say, there's a more important issue here. And thankfully, people like Joe Lycett have got a bit of integrity about them and have decided to use their voice to raise awareness for issues like this instead of acting like complete selfish little twants. But yeah, so Joe Lycett cancelled himself, then uncancelled himself to put pressure on irresponsible companies that could lead to them getting cancelled. What a stroke of genius, mate. But anyway, I guess that about does it for today. If you've enjoyed today's video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Smash that like button and turn notifications on by clicking that notification bell so you can see more videos like this one. So yeah, once again, thank you all for watching and I'll see you next time. And...